Carlos Alcaraz is now unbeaten in his last 22 and was tested yesterday, and maybe it wasn't his best tennis, but at the same time, he had some brilliant moments in that match that we saw where we know why he's the favorite to win this tournament. Is he going to continue this run? Can he really be toppled here?
I think you said that he wasn't his best against Andrei Rublev yesterday, still came out in four sets. I would say that Alcaraz hasn't played his best tennis at all in this tournament, and
Hmm.
still the only toughest part of his draw that he's had so far is right out of the gate when he played Fabio Fonini, and that went a full five. His serve has kind of been off. He's dropped service games, but he's been able to get back into it because his return has been so solid. His timing has been off, his rhythm has been off, his footwork has been off. He's just kind of been off, and yet he's still winning in three or four sets. So we have yet to see him really unleash on his full
Mm.
we've yet to see him at a full 100%. Can he fall? Absolutely. Can he beat Tenori in his next quarterfinal? I'm going to go with no. I would say that if Alcaraz does fall, it's not going to be until the final, of which he could be playing Jannik Sinner or he could be playing Novak Djokovic, is my hope. So he's had a tough time,
Mm.
and he's still great, and he's still so good. He's still so good.
It almost feels like something you'd say about like Scotty Scheffler, like to give it like a golf equivalent. And maybe that's far off because obviously I don't follow tennis like you do. But I want to ask you, like, is there a bet in there somewhere? Because right now, looking at the odds, Alcaraz is plus 115 to win it. Sinner is plus 138. Novak Djokovic 4-1. So it sounds like Carlos Alcaraz is a little on a little bit of shaky ground. But would you still bet on him to win this?
For the futures, I wouldn't, only because I am on Djokovic to win. So that would mean that
Mm.
Djokovic would have to get through both Jannik Sinner potentially in the semifinal and then through Alcaraz in the final. I'm still under the belief that Djokovic can do it because this is grass court tennis, and the nuance of grass is really coming to play. Now, Djokovic has lost to Carlos Alcaraz in back-to-back years in Wimbledon, but back in 2023, he was up a set and a break, and then Carlos just really let loose, and he became an untouchable player all of a sudden, and it never let up. That went a full five sets. Last year, Djokovic ended up losing in straight sets, but he had just had knee surgery. He had to have a WD from Roland Garros, and so this was his first tournament back, and everything was out of sorts. So I think this is an opportunity for Djokovic to really he's literally defeated tennis. But if he wanted to add one more under his belt, I really think he could, because this is the king of grass, and I'm not ready to hand that title over to Alcaraz, which people are already dubbing him King 2.0. Can he? Absolutely. If you believe so, 125 is for sure value because he has Yannick Sinner's number. If it is Alcaraz against Sinner in the final, he has won five straight matches because variety in this game wins. It has more
Mm.
variety, more tools in their bag, slice, drop shot, net games, or volley, everything, than Alcaraz. And some.
We're talking with Pam Maldonado. She is the betting analyst for ESPN. Follow her on X at Pamela M35. Great follow on Instagram as well. Can you sort of go over again this point that I think you were making on Instagram, I think it was, and I thought it was fascinating about how the game has changed, where the serve and volley type of game isn't nearly as common as it used to be. Why is that, and why is it not necessarily good for the game?
I think it's just, I think it's two part. I think it's there's coaches who just are not teaching that. It starts
Yeah.
from when you're a kid. What are you learning? And the coaches are teaching a baseline game, which means they are playing at the back of the line, and so you're just seeing a lot of forehands and backhands. Now, the old generation of tennis is used to be the serve and volley, attack first. You want to end the points as quick and possible. Also, what's changed from that's made it more of a baseline game is all the court speeds have been slowed down. So when you get that, you're going to have longer rallies. You can't do strike first type of tennis because the court speed is not as fast and lightning as it used to be. Like, take Wimbledon, for example. This is grass and it's still fast, but back in the 90s, it was whip, 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 and then you would serve, volley, serve, volley. People would maybe call that boring. I loved it because that's how tennis should be played.
Mm.
Nowadays, you see 5 hour matches. Why? Because of court speed. All of them have been slowed down across the board in the ATP. and that's forcing more of a baseline game. So the players that still can do strike first tennis, those are the ones that I like to back. Alcaraz, he's probably the only player on the ATP tour who has 100 tools in his tool bag that he can utilize and execute all of them with perfection. Not anybody else really has that. And that's why you're seeing such a discrepancy with Alcaraz and the rest of the field. Throw in Sinner, because he just comes with so much brute force and power that nobody's been able to figure out how to handle his pace.
Yeah. So we were talking before you came on the show, and you said something interesting to the effect of tennis is really hard to handicap. So for the casual listener who's listening to the show and saying, oh, that sounds interesting, maybe I'll bet on it. How do you start your handicaps when it comes to betting on tennis?
Well, I said that tennis is one of the hardest to handicap because I would say that ever since COVID, 20 years, the game of tennis has changed. A lot of, no sport was greatly affected than tennis when it came to everything, because you had all of these countries that they're trying to. Tennis is worldwide. You're playing just because you're playing on a hard court doesn't mean you're playing on the same hard court. No two surfaces are alike. So you're having to navigate that for one, and then two, you're having to navigate all of the shifts. What other sport do you change surface multiple times throughout the year? So you go from hard court, there's slow hard court, there's fast hard court, there's indoor hard court, which is mega fast, and then there's grass, and then there's clay. You're never having the same thing. All of these players are trying to figure out where does their skill set translate to. Only a few of them do, like Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner. Some are clay court specialists, some are grass court specialists. I think that's what makes it very difficult. In a best of five, how I handicap these is I'm looking for who's winning the match. Who is winning the match? Let's start there, even if it's a best of five. And then I figure out, all right, do I think they can be competitive? If I like this to potentially go full 5 sets, I'm looking at the over in games, I'm looking at the plus sets. But even then, it becomes difficult because the juice on some of this stuff is really high. So if you liked Caboli to end up winning a set, just one set, I think he's going to, if you like an underdog to win one set, that could be heavily juiced to like minus 230. So parlays are your friend in tennis. And I never say your parlays are for your friend. Ever, ever, ever. So let's caveat that. I never say parlays are your friend. In tennis, that's kind of the only way that you can find success.
Okay, so Pam, that's fascinating to hear. But I mean, I totally see the point you're trying to make. It's definitely sports specific. We got maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes here. Is there a particular bet you like today or something that you're just following we should be aware of?
This is going to be, let's call it a long shot. I like Grigor Dimitrov plus 7.5 games, and I say it's a long shot because he's going up against Jannik Sinner, and I like Sinner to win in straight sets. So you can win in straight sets, and still Dimitrov is the underdog, cover the plus 7.5 games. His game is suited for grass. He has a slice, he has the drop shot, he has a flat backhand, all of which can excel or disrupt the rhythm of Sinner. He's experienced enough on this surface to push him to a tiebreak, and as mentioned, he can still lose in straight sets and still cover. So my prediction is Jannik Sinner to win the match in 3 sets, but I'm going with Dimitrov plus 7.5 games because the juice is a heck of a lot less.